For today's short meditation, let us turn our pages to Psalms 88, verses 13 to 18. Here we see in this Psalms how the psalmist cries for help to God. And we'll be meditating on the last few verses from 13 to 18. But I cry to you for help, O Lord. In the morning my prayer comes before you. Why, O Lord, do you reject me and hide your face from me? From my youth I have been afflicted and close to death. I have suffered your terrors and I am in despair. Your wrath has swept over me. Your terrors have destroyed me. All day long they surround me like a flood. They have completely engulfed me. You have taken my companions and loved ones from me. The darkness is my closest friend. Here we see how the psalmist ends this chapter saying that the darkness is his closest friend. So today I would like to talk about the light in the darkness. When nothing seems right in our life and when people are neglecting us, or when we feel like even God has forgotten us, let us not stop praying. That's what we learn from this psalmist. Even though he goes through so much that he feels like even God is turning away from him, or even God has also forgotten him, what is he doing? Even though when he feels that, he is talking to God, he's praying to God. So the first thing we need to understand is, let us not stop praying. We see how the psalmist did not cease to pray. In verse 9, in previous verses, he says, Lord, I have called daily upon you. I have stretched out my hands to you. Here, even though he's praying, the light is not shining to him. And he didn't stop praying. Even though God is not answering his prayer, even though he feels helpless, even in that kind of situation, what is he doing? He's not stopped praying. Because God will answer. In verse 13 we see, the first thing what we need to do is, each day we need to start our each day with the Lord. Not with ourselves, not with anybody else, but with the Lord. That is through prayer. In verse 13 it says, But to you I have cried out, O Lord, and in the morning my prayers comes before you. So we need to understand from these words that always we need to begin our day with Lord. And He will give us the strength to finish the day. So even though the psalmist felt very helpless, what does he do? He starts his day with prayer. He starts his day with the Lord. So as we get up in the morning, let us start our day with the Lord. Not with the frustrations or what to do on that day, but with the Lord. Because He will give us the strength to finish our day. And secondly, we need to do is to look to God alone. Sometimes we have these tendencies as a human being to trust the circumstances, or to trust our fellow beings, or to trust ourselves sometimes. We have that tendencies and sometimes we do it that way. But this psalmist did not. What do we understand this psalmist? He did not trust himself, he did not trust in others, and he did not put his trust in his circumstances. But where did he put? He put it on the Lord. What we need to do, we need to look into God. We need to look only on Him, to God alone. He says, I'm going to look to God alone. I'm not going to trust anybody rather than God. I'm going to trust the Lord for my salvation. Yes, and further we see in his darknesses and in his disappointing days, in his suffering days, he feels very dark. He doesn't feel very happy. He feels very disappointed. But at the end of the day, God is still on His throne. No matter our circumstances, no matter of what disappointments we are in, at the end of the day, it is God who can deliver us. We need to trust Him to see through all our difficulties and our situations. And even though we see He says darkness is His friend, or there is no light, but even in that deepest broken time in his life, the psalmist does the first thing in the morning to go to the Lord, and he cries out, and he gives all what he can to the Lord. So today I would like to encourage everybody to learn from the psalmist, not from ourselves, not to learn from others or from the things that we go through, but the psalmist, he puts his trust even in his darkest days. Not only when he is in the light, in his darkness times, he runs to the Lord. So similarly, we need to run to the Lord. He didn't simply run to the Lord with blind trust, but he trusted that God is going to deliver him and give him the strength to finish the day. So let us remind of ourselves to begin our day with the Lord and to end our day with the Lord. So let us not look into our circumstances when we begin the day. Let us not look into our disappointments when we begin the day. But what? To look into God, and He will make the way because He's still on the throne. And all we need to do is to put our whole trust in Him because He will give us the strength to finish the day. Amen.